Hello, this is Socially Triggered, and this video is going to be on whether or not trans women are actual women. And I kind of want to approach this topic in a very interesting way. Um, there's been a lot of people that have actually gotten banned from Twitter from saying that simple, what I would believe is a fact, that trans women are not actual women. If you say that, that's considered hate speech nowadays. But I'd like to look at it from a logical standpoint. Uh, in university, I took logic as one of those courses that you take, as an elective. And there's a very simple concept within logic that if all A's are B and all C's are B, then all A's must be C's. That's sort of the basic of logic. That if you can prove one thing is the same as something else, and you can prove that something different is also that something else, then those two things that weren't really connected become connected because they're connected through that through that logic. And I kind of like that whole way of thinking. So generally when people get into this debate about whether trans women are real women, they ignore the logic. They purely think of the emotional argument that their feelings will get hurt if they're not accepted as women. And I would rather look at it from a logical standpoint. So what, first of all, makes a woman or a woman? Okay? Uh, and we got to understand that concept. So generally, if you think of a woman, you think of someone who is the female of the species. That's the easiest definition that I can think of, that somebody that is the female of the species. And the reason we have males and females is that we procreate. The males provide one function and the females provide another. And if you think about it, that female function is to procreate, that they have the ability to carry children and they have the functionality of being able to have children. Now, I know a lot of people that advocate for the trans movement, and they'll say, well, that's not a real definition of a woman because there's women that, are postmenopausal and they can't have children anymore. Therefore, whether or not they can procreate is not a valid definition. But what I would like to say to that kind of argument is that we look at it from the general sense. Women who are born a woman have the ability to procreate for the most part. There are defects, there are issues where women, for whatever reason, cannot have children, but they are in most aspects designed to have children. They have a womb, they have ovaries, they have different components which make them women. It's just like if somebody has a hand and they lose a finger, well, they still have a hand. They just lost a finger. It doesn't mean that that hand is no longer a hand because it has one less finger. It's still a hand. And the same applies for women, that functionality is still, or the entirety of being a woman is not lost because maybe the functionality isn't there. Okay, so let's let's look at this from this perspective that we say what a woman is, and does a trans person fit that definition? Well, basic idea would be that a trans man, a trans, I always get this confused. It's like one of those annoying things. A trans woman is originally a man. And the reason they're called a trans woman is they're going from being a man into transitioning into being a woman. So, well, then based on that reality, and they would accept that reality. I don't think any transsexual would say that that's not what's happening. Uh, they would say that they'd probably phrase it in a way like that their feelings, they always felt like they were a woman, and this is them just realizing that truth. probably in some way like that. But they're still transitioning from being outwardly a man. See, they'd say outwardly a man, because internally they feel like a woman, to becoming outwardly female. However, if you think about it, it's still only superficial. What makes a woman is internal, having a womb, having ovaries, having basic female functions. And these transitioning men don't have that. So they would not fit the definition of being a woman. So logically, they are not women. And this is the way I like to address it, that we have to be somewhat honest about this. We can't just say that anyone that wants to be a woman becomes a woman. It just doesn't work that way. And if they truly become a woman by whatever process they claim to have occurred, then they're no longer transsexual. So there's a dilemma for them as well. So I think the definition of transsexual should be somebody who is a man and or a woman, depending on where they're transitioning to, that wants to become the opposite gender. And that I can live with, because that's a reasonable definition, that they're trying to become something that they are not. And they do not actually ever achieve that goal, because you can never actually take a man and make them a woman. It just doesn't happen. It's biologically impossible. Now, if we had some kind of gene replacement technology and that could basically go through and rewrite the whole person's genetics, maybe then we could convert them into being a full woman. Even then, it'd be probably pretty difficult to do, because they would have to regrow all those parts that they should have grown when they were a baby. It just, I don't see it happening. So sorry, transsexual women, you are not women, based on logic, based on reality. And I hope this video makes the logical case why transsexual men are not women. I'd love to hear your feedback on this. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and give me your ideas. And if you want to hear a future video topic, please make a suggestion in the comments below as well, and look forward to seeing you in the next video.